Hey guys, welcome to another video of mine, Commander Belay, and this is another Chelsea transfer news video. And in this video I've got some huge news regarding Jadon Sancho Chelsea closing in on the Jadon Sancho deal, Timo Werner, the news gathering pace, and of course Alonso to Inter Milan. I'm going to be getting into all those stories in this video, but before I do get into it, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to my channel if you are new on here. Make sure you hit the bell notification button for every time I do upload, and comment down below thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. But without further ado, let's get straight into it. Of course, starting off with the Jadon Sancho rumours, and it was reported a couple of days ago, from between 24 to 48 hours ago, that Chelsea are closing in on the Jadon Sancho deal. Now hear me out, there is some controversy regarding the news article, and it was by the publication Sun. Of course, we know the Sun aren't that reliable, they're genuinely very unreliable. However, it's the journalists that caught people's attention. It's the journalists that caught people's eye. Usually with the Sun newspaper, many people don't really pay attention to it because they know it's unreliable. A lot of them do it for clicks, because of course that is the new football industry, the journalism industry, getting the amount of headlines, the clicks for the articles, etc. However, it's the journalists that caught people's attention. That was of course Duncan Wright. Now of course many of you are thinking, who's Duncan Wright? Now Duncan Wright of course has recently joined the Sun department and is now writing for the Sun Sport. However, it's the reason why people are excited by the news articles, because Duncan Wright in the past got plenty of Chelsea stories right, and not just correct, but also he got them early. For example, the N'Golo Kante situation when he was back at Leicester, Duncan Wright wrote an article that Chelsea were closing in on the Kante deal. He also got the article regarding Pulisic, Thibaut Courtois when we signed Kepa, and also Hazard's departure. He got all of those articles correct. Not only did he get them correct, but he wrote those articles relatively earlier as well, before pretty much any other news, other people such as other journalists and reporters such as Sky Sports, other English publications, etc. However, like I said, because of his reliability, because he's reliable, and when he wrote this article, he sent social media into berserk, honestly. Now, what the article was stating, that Chelsea is closing in on the £120 million value of Jadon Sancho. Of course, Dortmund have put a valuation on Jadon Sancho between 120 and 130 million pounds. However, the Dortmund director, as I mentioned in past few videos, has basically come out and said that he will not be leaving January, and that they will consider a summer move when the time comes. Now, of course, we all knew that. Anyone with a logical mind would know that Jadon Sancho would not be leaving in January. However, what I was told back in October and September, was also been told for time, is that if we ever had a deal to materialise for Jadon Sancho, it'd be either a Pulisic type deal or we'd simply sign him in the summer. Now, of course, what I need to mention to you guys is there's a lot of controversy, a lot of things we need to discuss. Now, of course, what I mentioned before is the board and the Chelsea hierarchy have a big decision to make. Now, of course, we all know that Dortmund are not going to sell Jadon Sancho in January. So, of course, there are many plans and options to this. Now, the first solution, number one plan, is forget signing in January, focus on other targets, and try and sign Jadon Sancho in the summer. Now, of course, this would be the most logical decision. However, you run into many barriers and problems with the situation. The first barrier you run into is, if you wait till the summer, there is no guarantee that we're going to be securing Champions League football. Now, of course, Jadon Sancho would never move to Chelsea unless we can guarantee him Champions League football. Otherwise, there's no point of him leaving Dortmund in the first place. Dortmund are almost guaranteed to get Champions League football. They play in the Bundesliga, not much competition compared to the Premier League. That immediately makes our chances much more slimmer, much more difficult. And clubs such as Liverpool, and of course other big European giants such as Real Madrid and Barcelona, have a much greater chance of signing Jadon Sancho. Now, of course, that's the first option. Wait till the summer and sign a winger such as a Zaha or a Chukwueze. He can make an immediate impact and help us secure Champions League football, and therefore we can sign Sancho in the summer. However, the other issue with trying to sign him in the summer is because in the summertime, more clubs, more league clubs such as your Liverpools, your Manchester Uniteds, they're going to have more funds available to be able to sign him. Hence why we're going to have more competition to sign Sancho, even if we do secure Champions League football. And of course, we have many advantages and benefits of signing him. He's a Chelsea fan. His best mates such as Tammy Abraham, Mason Mount, Hudson-Odoi play for Chelsea. Of course, he sees him in England camp all the time. He grew up as a Chelsea fan. He's Asian, is good friends with people at the club, with Roman Abramovich, etc. But the second plan to sign Sancho is, of course, do a Pulisic type deal, which I was told is a definitely realistic option, and I was told back in October to September. Now, of course, pretty much similar to what we did last season, Pulisic, of course, we'd pay the fee up now, the upfront fee of £120 million, £130 million. would then secure the deal. Jadon Sancho would then become a Chelsea player and would loan him back out to Borussia Dortmund for the remaining 6 months, and then summertime. Even if we don't secure Chelsea football, Jadon Sancho is already a Chelsea player. By doing this, we eliminate competition. By doing this, we secure the deal. We haven't got that added pressure of, if you don't make Champions League football, we can't make that top signings. And of course, it gives that stigma. It makes the fans happy. It's a definite good signing. And also, the other thing that Duncan Wright wrote in the article is that Chelsea are prepared to cough up the money as well, which is fantastic news. Basically, the hierarchy, Chelsea hierarchy, Ron Abramovich want to make a statement to the fans. They want to make a statement that we are back in business. They are ready to cough up the £120 million the Dortmund are demanding, and they're ready in the next summer window to start doing big business. And to me, that's fantastic news. It honestly means that the club have ambitious plans, that we want to return to the elite. We want to return to the big days, etc. And I think that Sancho is a fantastic start to that. He's got that Eden Hazard-esque model, as in replacement, that aura about him. And for me, he would definitely be a strong statement signing. But like I said, that's the reports are saying. He's a very reliable journalist, which gives me a lot of hope and insight. But leave me your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Do you think we'll sign Jadon Sancho, or do you think that we're going to sign him in summer, or do you think that other clubs such as Liverpool, Man United will sign him? Leave me your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Now, getting to the second part of the story, that is of course Timo Werner. Now, regarding Timo Werner, interesting news. Of course, couple of videos back I made that big controversial video, the exclusive news that Timo Werner is almost a done deal, and of course whether we sign him in January or in the summer remains to be seen. There's a lot of decisions and factors that need to be taken into account, but I have learned that about the release clause. Now, of course, kicker in the summer, when of course Timo Werner signed a 4-year deal at RB Leipzig, he had a release clause about 27 million euros. Now, a lot of you are aware of that release clause. However, what I was asking for the inside sources and really reliable publication, they're stating that is untrue. And of course, like I said in the past videos, it seems too good to be true for that release clause to be too cheap. It's somewhere about double that. So you're looking at the 55 to 60 million pounds. That's the release clause. So for me, I think that's about right. I would say that's about right. It's a win-win situation for both. RB Leipzig get a decent amount fee for their star man, their talisman, and also we pay a quite premium price for Timo Werner. In my opinion, the larger the release clause is, the better for Chelsea. And the reason why I'm going to say is because, of course, if it was 27 million euros, pretty much all the top 20 clubs around Europe would be in to sign Timo Werner, a young 23-year-old with world-class potential. He's going to be one of the best strikers in the world, the hottest properties in Europe right now. 18 goals in 16 Bundesliga games, near second top goal scorer in the Bundesliga, a chance to win the Bundesliga, one of the hottest prospects. All clubs would be in for him, especially for that price. But think about it this way logically. If his release clause is 55 to 60 million euros, more clubs would be pushed away from that. A lot of top clubs have first choice strikers. Why spend 60 million pounds on another striker who's not guaranteed first team football? And also eliminates a lot of competition for Chelsea, and it makes it easier for Chelsea to sign him, which in my opinion is good news. However, I think 60 million pounds, 70 million pounds is about the right fee for his for his market value. He's a top world-class player. He's 23 years old. He's got so many clever attributes. His clinical finishing, his pace is incredible. The way he operates in half spaces, it's quick running behind off the shoulder, very similar to a Jamie Vardy. But he's basically young and a much more complete, better attributes compared to Jamie Vardy. This guy will be world-class in his prime, and honestly, I'd love him at Chelsea. I genuinely would love him at Chelsea. But leave me your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. The article, the publication reporting this is saying that Chelsea are increasingly confident they will be signing Timo Werner, and the news article is gathering pace, the news story is gathering pace, so it's fantastic news. But getting into the last part of the story of the video, and that is of course Marcos Alonso. It looks like he will be heading out in January to Inter Milan. Of course, Inter Milan are favourites for his signature. He wants Antonio Conte reunion. Of course, Inter Milan are top of the league at Serie A ahead of Juventus. They've got a fantastic chance of winning Serie A. Of course, they were dumped into Europa League, so they could just play the kids in Europa League and put all the eggs in one basket for the Serie A. But Marcos Alonso could be a big bolster to their squad. Of course, we know Antonio Conte, he got the best out of Alonso in the three at the back formation. And I think that he would be a fantastic asset to Inter Milan. I think that he would help them. It's a win-win situation where both Marcos Alonso could potentially help Inter Milan secure that Serie A title for the first time in decades, and also another medal, for another trophy for Marcos Alonso. He can play in his best position. The manager has got the best out of him, and Chelsea can get some cash, which is a rumoured fee about 20 to 25 million pounds. So I would say win-win situation for all parties. But yeah, I'm going to wrap up the Chelsea transfer video there, guys. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to my channel if you are around here. Make sure you hit the bell notification available every time I do upload. And comment down below your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. And I'll see you guys for my next video. Peace.